How are you?
Good, how are you?
You know.
Anything special this week? In terms of the music?
The little people are going to make
Okay.
It's been fun.
Nate's
Okay.
great aunt and cousin died this week.
What?
Yeah. So we have a view.
Great aunt and cousin?
So his great aunt passed away, and then his great aunt's son just got a call today that he died too. They went in the hospital around the same time.
Oh. How old is
I have no idea. So we have a
Okay.
viewing tomorrow and a funeral on Sunday. It can never just be one with his family.
Yeah. Go big or go home.
Right? It's like with your family, like, right? Of course. I mean, at least in this case, he wasn't close to either of them.
It's a show up.
Yeah. Well, because after he called me to tell me about his cousin, he was like, do you want me to, like, be home? Rob would understand. We lost 2 family members this week. He's like, no, you go, I'm fine.
Lyman's not well. They're both sick.
Oh. Anything?
No, just cold.
Okay.
They had family visiting and they left in the cold.
Well, that was nice of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We want to welcome our friends from, I want to get the name exactly right, because Faith Evangelical Lutheran Church. And so we're wonderful to have you. And Pastor, thank you for coming and joining us. And we hope that you all enjoy your time with us here at Temple. We went over the prayer book, so they're all familiar. And if you are sitting next to somebody who looks like they're lost, please help them. We're going to begin as we light our Shabbat candles. And we don't have a lot of our Gesher students, but Jacob, do you want to help light candles? No. Okay. So we'll have...
Hi. You want to light candles?
Miriam will light candles. Okay.
Let's go.
All right. Miriam and Jesse are going to light candles.
How about this? I will identifier. Remind me how this works. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'adlikneh shel Shabbat.
Our two Shabbat candles recognizes the two parts of the Torah which dictate how we observe Shabbat. First, there are two recitations of the Ten Commandments. One says, Shamor et Yom HaShabbat, guard the day of Shabbat, and the other says, Zachor et Yom HaShabbat, remember the day of Shabbat. One is about history and tradition, remembering. The other, Shamor, is about action, active. You have to actually do it, and you have to have both the history and the background and the tradition behind you, but you also have to have the action, the actual doing of Shabbat. Shabbat is a verb. We have to do Shabbat. So together we will begin to do Shabbat in our service. The service that we do is called Kabbalat Shabbat, which means it's a welcoming service, a service that welcomes Shabbat into our hearts and into our lives. And so we'll begin on page 10 with Hine Matov. How beautiful, how wonderful it is to be together.
Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
And on page 12, we continue with Lechu Naranana, which is from Psalm 95. Come, let us sing joyously to God.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, litzuri shenu, ikad mafa betoda. Naria, naria, litzuri shenu, bizmiro dairano. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai.
We turn together to page 20. And on page 20, we join in a song called Lecha Dodi. And in its mystic tradition, this is the time when the mystics would go out into the fields of Tzvat, a town in the very north part of Israel in the Middle Ages, and they would jump into the fields and welcome the bride of Shabbat, which came every single week to them, and they brought Shabbat into their hearts as they would welcome and celebrate with a bride and groom. They would celebrate with this Shabbat bride.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, yalalai, yalalai, yalalai.
Echadodi likrat kala
yalalai, 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 Pnei Shabbat,
And we rise and face the door as we welcome our mythic Shabbat bride. Please be seated as we turn together to page 22 and join in Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir Le'Yom HaShabbat, a psalm, a song for Shabbat.
Mizmor Shir Le'Yom HaShabbat, Tov Lehodot Adonai, Uzamer L'Shimcha Elyon, Uzamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Mizmor Shir Le'Yom HaShabbat, Tov Lehodot Adonai, Uzamer L'Shimcha Elyon, Uzamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Nehagid b'boker hasdacha, v'emunatecha b'leilot, alei asur v'alei navel, alei higayon b'chinar. Mizmor Shir Le'Yom HaShabbat, Tov Lehodot Adonai, Uzamer L'Shimcha Elyon, Uzamer L'Shimcha Elyon.
As we turn to page 24, we take a look at those words that say, Shalom Aleichem, peace be on you. And they are words of greeting. And so when two people meet, the traditional Jewish greeting is, Shalom Aleichem, may peace be on you. And the response is, Alechem Shalom, on you may there be peace. And so, find somebody you haven't met yet and say hello. And so we'll join together as we sing Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Uni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim
Elohim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We turn together to page 26 as we rise for Chatzi Kaddish. That ends the Kabbalat Shabbat part of our service, the first part of the Friday evening service, and signals that we'll be beginning with the very next page, and we won't break in between. We'll continue right along with Baruch Hu on page 28 immediately following.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yamad yivrachu v'yamlich malchutei.
B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. B'agala u'vizman karif v'yimeru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'alam u'lam ne'amaya, yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shemei Kudesha,
B'richu.
le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata,
Tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma,
v'yimaru. Amen.
Page 28.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, le'olam va'ed. Please be seated as we continue reading together the middle of page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And we continue on page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Ahavat olam made Yisrael amchavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu Uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'mitzvotecha Le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem negei yomam ve'lam נגה יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
We rise together as we turn to page 34 and join in Shema, our statement of faith.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem
Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated as we continue with Va'ahavta, page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. And we join in our song of freedom, Mi Chamocha, page 40. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele.
מלכותך ראובניך בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו ארוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה ארוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה ארוני,
Ga'al Yisrael. As we turn together to page 43, and let's join at the very top of the page. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha,
Page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. As we join on page 44 in Vishamru, as we thank God for the blessing, the wonder that we have to celebrate Shabbat.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheish yed yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz, ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam.
Page 47. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. As we rise together for Amidah, beginning on page 46. Adonai sefatai tiftach, ufi agit tehilatecha. Adonai, open our lips, that our mouths may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, page 48. Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevig Ula Lifnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Page 50. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Hoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Geburot, Umidom Elach, Melech Ninit, Umechaye, Umatzniach Yeshua, B'nei Manata L'Hachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. Page 52. Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yahalu Chasela. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated as we continue on page 53. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. May these hours, page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth together. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 57. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch Atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Modim anachnu lach, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch Atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha Lecha Na'eh Lehodot. Let's join together at the very top of page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship
among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lecho hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
Many traditions have prayer books. Ours goes back generations and generations. They say that the first book printed on the printing press was the Gutenberg Bible, and the second was the Jewish prayer book. Not really, but we've had prayer books a very long time. And yet our tradition also acknowledges and understands that not every prayer expresses every thought that we have in our own hearts and minds. And so we take a few moments now for those prayers, those individual prayers that are in our own hearts, our own minds, our own selves. So we take some moments for silent prayer.
Ratzon imrefi ve'yon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri ve'gali
We turn together to page 253. There we find our prayer for healing. And we ask God to heal all those who need. Our friends, our family, our extended community, people we know, people we don't know. And yet we send those energies of healing out into the world, and we hope they arrive at whoever needs them. We hope and pray for healing for all those around the world, all those affected by so many different armed conflicts all over the world, of illness, sickness. And we hope and pray that they find the strength and courage to heal. And in our congregation, we especially mention James Chavez, Etta Howell, Irv Willis, Ella Kobos, Wendy Sherman, Cheryl Perry, Esther Northman, April Wortman, Michael Shervetsky, Rabbi Brad Bliefeld, and Stephanie Willis. If you are joining us via live stream and you would like to add a name, please add the name into our chat. If you are here in person and would like to add a name, as I look around, please do so. We join together in the middle of the page.
Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Not only is it Shabbat Shalom, but this is a very, very special Shabbat. It is the Shabbat that immediately precedes Pesach, Passover, exactly, good. Which of course begins Monday night, and Monday, first Seder, second Seder is Tuesday. We have our second Seder here. Hopefully everybody who wants to has made those arrangements. And we are looking forward to a great Shabbat and great Pesach together. Shabbat Hagadol has a very special place in the heart of rabbis. It was actually on Shabbat Hagadol was the only Shabbat where rabbis were permitted to give a lengthy sermon. Aren't you all glad you came? And you already knew the topic of the sermon ahead of time, because it was the same every year. What was the topic of the sermon? Making sure that you were ready for Pesach. Right? And there would be a long conversation of all of the intricate preparations needed for Pesach. Right? Yes. In our house, we have been Pesadict since yesterday. I got yelled at for breathing the word bread in the kitchen. So, not only do we have to not eat leavened products during Passover, we can't even own them. Right? So in some communities, you get rid of all of your chametz, all of the things that are not kosher for Passover, and give them away, or throw them away, or whatever. In some communities, people put them in boxes or lock them up in cupboards and put big "do not touch till after Passover." We have cupboards at home that say NFP all over them, not for Passover. I can't wait till my kids arrive on Saturday and say, "Dad." And then, of course, they're going to mess it up. So I apologize. In some cases, actually, the tradition was to sell your chametz, your non-kosher for Passover things, to the non-Jews. So anybody want any bread? Because we got, It actually was a bit of a fiction, because we would sell it to somebody who's not Jewish, and then after the holiday, they would sell it back to us, and no money ever exchanged hands. Why did we go through all of that? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to cook, to clean, to get rid of the stuff, to make sure that all of the bread products and everything are cleaned out and gotten rid of. In fact, in the old days, you would then, after you had done most of the cleaning, you would go throughout your house with a feather and a little pan and collect the leftover crumbs and burn them in the backyard the morning before the Seder. So on Monday morning, I hope to see everybody having a bonfire in their backyards with their breadcrumbs. People have made observing kosher for Passover almost an Olympic sport. When I was the Hillel director at the University of Rochester, I don't know if Jesse, you remember when they burnt down do you remember that year? Well, one year we hired this very ardent young Orthodox rabbi, and he was in charge of making everything kosher. And so he asked the more experienced Orthodox rabbi in town how to kosher a warming oven. And the other rabbi said, you take a Sterno can, you put it on a shelf inside the warmer, you close the door, you turn the thing on for an hour, and you leave it alone, and you come back and you're done. He didn't think one candle was enough. He put a candle on each shelf. That evening that he was doing this, the mayor of the city happened to be speaking upstairs. When the fire trucks arrived, it was not a pretty sight. And to be fair, he only wanted to do what was right? But why do we make such a big deal out of this? Right? Why do we spend so much time, so much effort into making sure that everything is just so? Well, what do you think? You've done it for years. Well, you may not have, but... It's tradition, right? Right, Fiddler on the Roof, Why do we do it? I don't know, it's tradition. It's a way that we reenact that moment of leaving Egypt, of having only the unleavened bread, having only the travel bread, and beginning a 40-year journey that will lead us eventually to returning to the land of Israel. But really, the festival is about this sense of rebirth and renewal. And so part of it is that cleaning out, getting rid of the chametz, getting rid of the leavening, the stuff that gives you a rise, getting rid of all of that and beginning fresh in a spring holiday. Oh, God's calling. Passover is this wonderful moment. Now, if it was only about the history, right, it wouldn't continue. What gives it its meaning is the reflection that we always, throughout our lives, work through this continual process of working from a problem, an enslavement of some kind, and working towards freedom. Whether it's big or little, big challenges, little challenges. Passover is the model that says we work through them. We work ourselves through. And we do that through the support, the inspiration of our tradition, and our own ability to follow that path, that to go on the journey, our willingness to take the journey. And so this year, as we are about to begin that once again, that Passover journey, I wish everybody a Pesach that is filled with sweetness and with joy and lots of matzah. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to continue with Aleinu on page 282. In the middle of the page, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Top of 284. שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו כך כתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל והארץ מתחת אין עוד. Middle of page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear, but if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those around us. The psalmist said that in his affliction he learned the law of God. And in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silent in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. And thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wish to live. We remember them now They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. We are in the period of Shiva, the first 7 days of mourning for Gerald Hoffman, and we wish condolences to Pam and Craig and your family as you, in this moment of Shiva, this moment of remembrance. And the community is invited to join Pam at 2 o'clock on Sunday at her home for a Shiva minyan and time to share and support you. So please join us. We are also in the period of Shloshim, those first 30 days of mourning for Larry Lechner. And of course, we continue to send condolences to Larry's entire family. On this Shabbat, we observe Yartzeit, the anniversary of the person's death for William Levin, Kurt Nathan, Abe Daneman, Joseph Lochner, Barbara Castleman, Sidney Schuster, Morris Berenstain, Henry Jacobson, Norman Shore, Fanny Mazeroff, Howard Paul, Alfred Baker, Israel Cohen, Bess Fall, Theodore Kahn, Rebecca Levick, Betty Rubin, Heinrich Schaffner, James Simon, Edward Ivan Zaks, and Nanette Kossel Linville. If anybody would like to add any names and you're joining us via live stream, please put the names into our chat. If anybody here in person would like to add a name, please do so.
Jenny Rhodes.
So we rise together as we turn to the words of Kaddish, the memorial prayer on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam l'armeh armaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. I'd like to call on our temple president, Rochelle Kruinski, to share some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. And welcome to our guests from Faith Evangelical Lutheran Church. We're delighted that you could come and share this evening with us. We have a very busy month coming up, and as you heard from our rabbi, this is the start, or we are in the process of starting our celebration of Passover. And Passover celebrates freedom, joy, and most importantly, hope for us. And it's the story of the Exodus that is told over and over, generation to generation, and we're told that this is the story that we repeat so that our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will hear the story and pass it on to their generations. This is a tough time, you know. Every year at our Seder tables, we end our Seder with next year in Jerusalem. And our prayers are for everyone. Our prayers, regardless of our thoughts of what's happening, is to return to peace, to ensure that the people in Gaza and the people in Israel find hope. There are still hostages being held, and our concerns, but we want peace, and we want that one day we can all join together again and find something that brings us all together. So next year in a Jerusalem that has peace. I want to thank Rabbi and Jesse again for a wonderful service and music. Tonight's services are in celebration of Susan Comey's birthday and in memory of Kurt Nathan, Jeffrey Kaler, and Rose Kerr. Tomorrow we have a morning service that starts at 10 and Torah study at 11. And very importantly, on Sunday, April 21st, the Gesher program, our school Sunday school program, is celebrating a chocolate Seder, to die for, right? And then, of course, Monday night is the first night of Seder, which is celebrated in our homes with family and friends. And Tuesday is second night Seder, which will be held here. So we look forward to anyone who wants to join us on Tuesday. If you haven't made reservations, please do. It's so that we can make sure that they have to call the office and let Karen know immediately. But we would love to have you join us. May 5th, we have so much going on. We have a wonderful fundraiser on May 5th. So please, if you have not bought your tickets, if you haven't made that reservation, we need you, ASAP, and all your friends, relatives, and people you may know or don't know, bring them. Okay?
Do you know how to say bingo in Hebrew? You ready? Bingo!
There are many other programs that we have, and very importantly, on April 27th, we have a wonderful program here on social justice. Pardon?
Friday and Saturday.
It's Friday and Saturday. Friday, April 26th, and Saturday, April 27th. So it's 2 days, both our Shabbat service and then Saturday, a lunch and learn. So we have all kinds of flyers if you need information, and I know it's been published in our weekly email and Temple Topics. And also, if you're interested, the Finance Committee has put together a whole program on wills, investments, and insurance, and that is April 28th from 10 to noon. Excellent program. Many of us had the privilege of hearing this panel of experts, and it's a great, very informative. I don't care where you are, if you have a young family and you're just trying to figure it out, or you're later in life, we found there was just so much to learn to help us in planning for now and for later. And lastly, May 7th, there is a lunch and learn here called Palliative Care and Hospice. Rabbi has worked with the Julia Hospice Program to bring them here and talk about the hospice program that's being planned, which is a standalone hospice. And we really invite you to come and meet the folks, listen, and we hope to actually develop some programs here that would help folks who are confronting family members or friends, whatever, who have the need for hospice. So thank you again to our visitors. We have refreshments, coffee, and some schmoozing after services. Please come over and join us afterwards. Again, Shabbat Shalom.
So we'll conclude this evening with a song that many of you will know. It's not in our prayer books, but it's called Sanctuary. And it comes from it originated actually as a Quaker hymn, and it was translated and sort of set to a Hebrew verse that is, Asuli mikdash, build me a sanctuary, v'shochanti b'tocham, and I will dwell amongst you.
So I'll do it first in Hebrew, and then we'll do it in English. Please sing along if you know it, and sing along even if you don't. Vasuli mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham v'anachnu nivarech yam ve'ata
We join in thanking God for the blessing and the opportunity that we have to come together on this beautiful Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'yahavahu v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Please join us
shalom.
for some refreshments, cookies, and some drinks, and some opportunity to greet and talk with each other.